Hey, thanks for joining me on my drive today. I want to talk about the little things that annoy you in life and explain to you that they actually have an intended positive outcome, also known as an IPO. If you happen to be human just like everyone else is on this planet, there are certain things that kind of bug you about moving forward, about your business, maybe your relationships, yourself. There are things that you would like to change towards the better. However, emotionally, you don't move forward. Consciously, logically, you know I should just be able to do this, but it doesn't happen. And this all has to do with IPOs. And before I get into that, I want to share with you a story that's going to give some context that'll help you better understand how IPOs and these blocks are actually intended to help you. And the story starts with a client of mine years ago who was an up-and-coming photographer. He was not completely established, but he was getting very close to being established. He was starting to make good money. Business was starting to come regularly because of his reputation. Yet he wasn't totally established, but he wasn't down here just starting out either. And what had happened was during this time, headshots, professional business headshots, were a key part. They were kind of his bread and butter of his business. And he got to the point where emotionally he didn't want to do them anymore. He didn't feel right talking to people. He didn't want to promote it. He just felt kind of blah when it came to headshots, and he didn't know why, because this is where his money was. This is how he paid his rent. This is, all the things that he needed. Really, headshots were bread and butter, and yet emotionally it just didn't feel right. And so in talking to him, what we were able to discover is that early on when he was growing up, he was raised by his grandparents for many years. And his grandfather in particular, somebody he looked up to quite a bit. And this is a gentleman who's salt to the earth. You work hard, you go out, you're honest. But the key thing that he remembers is that you have to work hard in order to move forward, in order to be successful, in order to be a man, you have to work hard. And that's a very American thing to do. Work hard. And yet, here he was wanting to work hard, but emotionally he wasn't motivated to do something that he loved and was making him good money. So you can see why he was frustrated. Well, what happened is that coming out of college, as he was starting to grow his career, he had to work for it. He had to figure out which equipment, which lens, where's the best location, what are the different ways of talking to these business professionals to get the right look that he wanted so that he would have happy, satisfied clients. Over the years of doing many of these sessions, it started to become easy. And this easiness became in direct conflict of his subconscious critter brain. Consciously, he wasn't aware of it, and that's why these are what we call blind spots. These are frustrations that everyone has that are blind spots because we don't know why, and yet there's an IPO, there's an intended positive outcome as to why. For this individual, the IPO behind not wanting to do headshots anymore, even though that was his bread and butter, it was instilled in him at a very young age. You need to work hard. And it was no longer hard. In fact, it was easy. He had the right equipment. He knew how to talk to people. He could get the best looks. In fact, he even knew when I talked to him, he goes, my clients love my work. I know I do good work. I should be excited about it, and I'm not. The thing that was holding him back was this blind spot that he wasn't aware of around his grandfather instilling in him at a very young age. Once we were able to uncover this blind spot, the light bulb came on and he was like, oh my gosh, this totally makes sense. And he stopped beating himself up for not knowing why he wasn't able to move forward in his business. So IPOs get instilled at a very young age, and they don't show up until much later on in life. And why they're considered a intended positive outcome is because as a child, you needed to have this programming in your mind in order to survive. In order to be with grandpa, he learned, I need to work hard. I need to be a salt of the earth. I need to be rugged. I need to be strong. Things cannot come easy. And that made his relationship with his father, with his grandfather, something that maintained it's intact. It allowed him to belong in that relationship. Growing up, it really wasn't benefiting him as an adult. As things became easy, he stopped wanting to do it. So this is where IPOs show up all the time in all of our lives. And by uncovering these blind spots that we're not even aware of, we can start moving forward. In fact, with the photographer, a couple weeks later after I had a session with him, he was actually excited because he was starting to book appointments like crazy, and he didn't feel bad anymore. Emotionally, he was excited again about moving forward because we had identified what the IPO was of something that was blocking him. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on IPOs. What IPOs do you have maybe? Leave those comments below. And if you have any more questions, you want to learn more about IPOs, be sure to check the link below for the website. All right, until next time, I hope everybody has a great day. Take care. I'm Ryan Perry. I'm the co-founder of Now Life Project, and I have the pleasure of helping business owners identify blocks in their